Good morning. After 2 years of postponements due to COVID, experts call 2022 the year of the wedding. A crush of couples heading to the altar to find out love actually does cost a thing, and it's a premium. Inflated prices and vendor shortages prompting brides and grooms to plan ahead and to unveil creative ways to save on their big day. For those planning a wedding, this can sound more like this. Especially in 2022, when an estimated 2.5 million couples will tie the knot during sky-high inflation. 70% of couples already report spending more on their big day than originally planned.
We're cutting the fat, like boom, 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 and still within like 2 weeks we already doubled our budget.
Yeah.
Lynn Hazan and Tony Bush will say I do in July after saying I don't to some of the usual wedding costs. Instead of an expensive venue, Lynn and Tony will exchange vows on their building's rooftop without a bridal party and just 60 to 70 guests.
Every time somebody says we can't come, I'm kind of like, okay, so sad you're not coming, but okay.
Also crossed off their list, a full-time wedding planner, a cake, and fancy flowers.
I don't remember my friends' weddings and going, they had great floral arrangements.
What's important is what comes after. It's the honeymoon, it's buying a home.
No matter how you slice it, planning a wedding is rarely a piece of cake. And with prices soaring for just about everything, it's giving a lot of folks a run for their money, including vendors.
Butter, fondant, chocolate, really everything, cocoa butter, they've all gone up.
While supply chain shortages have forced some vendors to increase their prices, cake artist Greg Pack says she's eating some of the extra costs. You are actually absorbing some of the costs and not passing them on to your couples. Why is that?
Correct. Well, ingredients is actually a small percentage of the price. A lot of wedding vendors like musicians, photographers, cake artists, you're paying for their time and skill.
2 ingredients that result in these masterpieces. Some cakes taking her up to 50 hours to complete. What are some things couples can do to save money?
So some things that couples can do to save money in wedding cakes is actually looking at faux tiers. It's actually styrofoam inside, but real on the outside, so none of your guests will know.
Gray says faux cakes like this NBC Peacock-inspired creation made at our request can cost around 20% less than real ones. Other ways to save: order a sheet cake for guests. Decorate with fresh flowers instead of sugar.
Think of a crazy number, and then it's going to be 3 times that crazy number.
Jeremy Levy and Lauren Camerlin down the aisle saying they can have their cake,
Classic vanilla cake and rich chocolate cake.
and eat it too.
Oh my God, the sugar.
By eliminating wedding favors and selecting a lesser-known venue, even if, like their own love story, it isn't love at first sight. Often the venue is the most expensive part of the wedding, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do?
So when we saw our venue, they had just started doing weddings. It was a brand new space, and they were renovating it.
It looked like a carpentry site. It was just like a dude in a hard hat, like cutting wood and like waving to us.
According to Zola, an online wedding planner, other cost-cutting trends: weekday weddings at any time of the day.
Now we're even seeing some brunch or breakfast weddings. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It doesn't have to be at night. It just has to be with the people who love you the most and who feel great. And, maybe you're just serving a bacon, egg, and cheese.
I would go there, for sure. NBC News' parent company Comcast invests in Zola. That is where experts say couples can also send digital save-the-date cards and invitations to save money. And brides and grooms-to-be can now add cash funds to their online registries. That is an option for guests who want to help cover wedding expenses, like the photographer, for instance, instead of buying a physical gift. By the way, Zoom weddings, those are still a thing, with the new technology allowing couples to live stream their big day and include guests who can't travel. And after all these years of Zooming, we're used to it. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, the weekday wedding is an interesting concept. A weekday morning wedding.
Well, breakfast sounds interesting. It changes it up from what you're used to.
Yeah, if you want to keep it tight, if you want a small little wedding, maybe you just tell them everyone it's on a Wednesday and it's for breakfast.
Yeah.
You can make it.
Yeah. You did some creative things to save a few bucks.
We also didn't have a cake. I think it was more because we didn't really like cake and we like apple crisp instead. But yeah, we did that. We didn't serve champagne because everybody's drinking their drink anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Figure out different ways.
Just little ways to
Well, I
save
like
some
the
money.
faux cake thing too because it's like you only eat the bottom layer anyway. The rest of it just looks pretty. She's smart. And by the way, I did want to try that cake. It looks so good.
Especially the peacock cake.
All right.
Yeah, it's too pretty to cut into.
How's the weekend looking?
It's looking good for a lot of